You believe going harder will save you. What if conserving your energy does more than going ever could? There's a creeping, unmistakable weariness that comes from going after all that sparkles. You're being drawn a dozen ways like a phone on 2% battery, attempting to accomplish a full day. What if the solution isn't to go faster, but to decide where you put your feet? Most of us gauge value by how much we do and not by how much we save. It is not laziness, it is wisdom and what to cultivate. I recall a friend who said yes to all invitations and woke up one morning with no voice left for the life she desired. He had his calendar packed with other people's urgencies and not one of the little steady urgencies within him. There was a time when I believed willingness equaled strength. I learned otherwise, slowly, painfully, kindly. Begin to write down what drains you and what energizes you. Sometimes the lists appear identical at first glance, but sound different when you read them out loud. Boundary setting is a practice as learning to play the piano, clumsy, rough, and changing over time. Tiny rituals, a 15-minute walk and no-phone dinner, a 2-minute breathing practice create space within. The Stoics instructed that control is in our judgments, not in things outside ourselves. Energy protection is an extension of that principle. Marcus Aurelius didn't pursue praise, he controlled his attention. Epictetus would say, "Is this in my control? If not, it's not worthy of energy of worry." Balance isn't stiff stability, it's the art of flexing without breaking. Depth and playfulness are not foes. Serious curiosity can be light, genuine joy can be deep. Seriousness provides focus, curiosity provides potential. Try flipping from pursuit as a lifestyle into protection as a daily habit. Rather than defining success through accumulation, define it through what you safeguard. Time, focus, heart space. When you're guarding your energy, you cease to be an always drained battery and become a cared for garden. You get to choose what's in the sun and what's in the shade. That doesn't make you selfish negatively. It makes you available to the best degree available to the people, work, and moments that are truly important. Protection questions before it answers. What is this going to cost me? Not in terms of money, but in attention and time and peace of mind. That is a real cost, and one that is frequently overlooked. Practice saying no in one sentence, not an apology. No is a full sentence, it takes up space. Practice it in little ways. Decline an added task, skip a meeting that is meaningless, refuse a chat that pulls you into emotional work you didn't volunteer. Gradually, no becomes not a barrier, but an opening that you swing open for matters. There is an easy experiment you can conduct today. For 3 days, observe one thing that depleted you and one thing that filled you up. Do nothing dramatic, just observe. The observing shifts you. It slows the reflex to always do more and asks a softer question. Is this something I want to pay attention to? That question in itself redirects energy. Protection is not evasion. It's strategic involvement. It requires you to be thoughtful about the fights you fight and the burdens you bear. It requires you to invest in relationships that pay back and work that aligns in projects that teach you something you wish to know. Stoic practice assists in this regard because it conditions attention. When you tend to attention as money, you spend it more judiciously. A life that's spent pursuing all shiny things is a life with an exceedingly thin ledger in the end. A life in which energy is safeguarded exhibits various dividends. More profound presence, clearer priorities, improved creativity. And yet guard without hardening. There must be space for random laughter, curiosity, and play. The idea isn't to be a monk on a mountain, but to be like a person who knows which mountains are worth climbing. Depth and playfulness proceed in tandem. Be serious enough to get the work done and light enough to have fun doing it. That balance between gravity and levity, between focus and play, is where meaning develops. If this resonated, share your thoughts, your little rituals, or questions in the comments. Let us know what guards your energy. Think of guarding your energy like maintaining a garden. Every choice is a seed. There is a tendency to put seeds in everything, to say yes to whomever requests, to cutting to water each neighbor's bed, and soon you have no soil left for what you really desire to cultivate. Naming is the first step in protection. Call what depletes you. Call what fills you up. There is clarity in lists because language reflects back. When you can utter, "This drains me," you also chart your boundaries. One of the people I knew protected his schedule like it was a precious resource. He wasn't unfeeling, he was frugal. When his friends requested his time, he doled it out in styles that were consistent with his values. One profound conversation, a walk in common, a brief text, "Hello, check in." He learned that quality trumps quantity. You can be generous and still set boundaries. The world gets urgency confused with importance. Urgent things demand with red flags, and screaming voices important things come as steady tiny requests. Guarding energy is learning to hear the difference. In practice, this means micro habits. A morning ritual that grounds you before the world makes demands a daily checkpoint, where you get to choose what warrants the majority of your focus, a brief pause before committing to anything that isn't unambiguously aligned. Boundaries are like fences around a garden. They aren't punishment for the outside world, they keep seeds safe. When you uphold them, you establish a field where calm and creativity can germinate. The Stoics provide a beacon. We're in charge of our actions, not external results. That putting protecting energy into action translates to cultivating the inner soil, your reactions, your little disciplines, your rest, because you can't always direct events, but you can steward how you encounter them. There's courage in not being all to all. There's also gentleness. Guarding your energy is an act of kindness to yourself and by extension to others, because you arrive more fully when you're not drained. And don't confuse protection with fear. Protection isn't avoiding life's difficult places, it's deciding which difficult places you will engage from abundance rather than lack. That's the distinction between moving towards something due to longing and moving due to the sense of hollowness if you don't. Practice curiosity as an antidote to seriousness. Ask yourself, what would happen if I made joy a priority for 30 days? Let that question open experiments. A weekend without notifications, an hour every week just for acquiring something lighthearted, an evening where you do nothing that looks like productivity. These experiments are not escape, they are realignments. They show you that rest isn't a reward for productivity, rest is material for it. In the long run, your decisions accumulate. Not doing one thing releases energy for another. Accepting fewer things makes the ones you do more profound. The irony is that by guarding less, you can provide more where it matters. This is a working philosophy, tiny repeatable routines that align action and attention. Let yourself be humble. You aren't going to get this right overnight. Boundaries loosen up. Old habits come creeping back. Be kind. Recommit. Guarding your energy is a practice, not a one-time solution. Call an accountability. Share with a friend what you're trying, or leave yourself a note about why you require some rituals. The narrative you create about yourself is important. When your inner story changes from, "I need to do more," to, "I get to decide where I put my energy," everything fits differently. If this resonated with you, right below, share what depletes you, what nourishes you, or one small boundary you'll attempt this week. Ask a question. We'll read, respond, and grow together.